Prime Minister Narendra Modi disperses over 19,000 crore rupees to 9.5 crore farmers across the country as the Part 8th installment of Pradhan Mantri Kisan scheme interacts with beneficiary farmers, urges farmers and villagers to follow COVID-appropriate behavior to protect from infection spreading in villages. India's cumulative COVID recoveries exceed 2 crore cases, over 3.44 lakh recoveries registered in the last 24 hours. Total vaccination doses in the country near 18 crore mark. Center to supply nearly 1.92 crore COVID vaccines to states and union territories during the fortnight of 16 to 31st of May. First dose of SPUTNIK vaccine administered in Hyderabad. International aid meanwhile continues to flow in. South Korea, Belgium, Italy, Singapore send oxygen tankers and medical equipments, while Indian Railways supply total of 7,115 metric tons of oxygen throughout the country. US allows fully vaccinated people to not wear masks outdoors and indoors in most places. US President Joe Biden calls it a great milestone and extraordinary success in vaccinating Americans quickly. More international news. Tension escalates in Israel-Gaza violence. Death toll from Israeli strikes on Gaza rises to over 100. Lebanese military sources say Lebanon fired 3 rockets towards Israel, while the Israeli army clarifies that its troops have not entered the Gaza Strip. And nation celebrates Eid al-Fitr today, marking the end of the holy month of Ramadan. President, Vice President wish people. Prime Minister Narendra Modi prays for everyone's good health and well-being on this auspicious occasion. Namaskar and welcome. You're watching DD News. I'm Sakal Bhatt, and the top stories that we are tracking for you this Friday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today released the 8th installment of financial benefit under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme. This has enabled the transfer of more than 19,000 crore rupees to more than 9 crore 50 lakh families of farmers. Speaking on the occasion, Prime Minister Modi said that the first installment of Kisan Samman Nidhi has reached millions of farmers of Bengal today. And as the names of the farmers from the states will be received by the central government, the number of beneficiary farmers will increase further.
बंगाल के किसानों को पहली बार इस सुविधा का लाभ मिलना शुरू हुआ है। आज बंगाल के लाखों किसानों को पहली किस्त पहुंची है। जैसे जैसे राज्य से किसानों के नाम केंद्र सरकार को मिलेंगे, वैसे वैसे लाभार्थी किसानों की संख्या और बढ़ती जाएगी। साथियों, पीएम किसान सम्मान निधि से विशेष रूप से छोटे और मझोले किसानों को अधिक लाभ हो रहा है। आज के कठिन समय में ये राशि इन किसान परिवारों के बहुत काम आ रही है। अभी तक इस योजना के तहत देश के लगभग 11 करोड़ किसानों के पास लगभग 1,35,000 करोड़ रुपए पहुंच चुके हैं।
Prime Minister Modi said that about 10% more wheat has been purchased at MSP as compared to last year so far. Also informed that millions of farmers of Punjab and Haryana are connected with this facility of direct transfer.
अभी तक गेहूं की खरीद का लगभग 58,000 करोड़ रुपए 58,000 करोड़ रुपए सीधे किसानों के खाते में पहुंच चुका है। सबसे बड़ी बात ये कि अब किसान जो उपज मंडी में बेच रहा है, उसको अब अपने पैसे के लिए लंबा इंतजार नहीं करना पड़ता, परेशान नहीं होना पड़ता। किसान के हक का पैसा सीधा उसके बैंक खाते में जमा हो रहा है। मुझे संतोष है कि पंजाब और हरियाणा के लाखों किसान पहली बार डायरेक्ट ट्रांसफर की इस सुविधा से जुड़े हैं। अभी तक पंजाब के किसानों के बैंक खाते में करीब 18,000 करोड़ रुपए और हरियाणा के किसानों के बैंक खाते में 9,000 करोड़ रुपए सीधे उनके बैंक अकाउंट में जमा हो चुके हैं।
Prime Minister Modi also appealed to people to get vaccinated, saying that the government hospitals across the country are giving jabs for free, urging people to get their shot whenever it's their turn to take the jab.
केंद्र सरकार और सारी राज्य सरकारें मिलकर ये निरंतर प्रयास कर रही हैं कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा देशवासियों को तेजी से टीका लग पाए। देश भर में अभी तक करीब 18 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज दी जा चुकी है। देश भर के सरकारी अस्पतालों में मुफ्त टीकाकरण किया जा रहा है। इसलिए जब भी आपकी बारी आए तो टीका जरूर लगवाएगा। ये टीका हमें कोरोना के विरुद्ध सुरक्षा कवच देगा, गंभीर बीमारी की आशंका को कम करेगा। संकट के समय में दवाइयां और जरूरी वस्तुओं की जमाखोरी और कालाबाजारी में भी कुछ लोग अपने निहित स्वार्थ के कारण लगे हुए हैं। मैं राज्य सरकारों से आग्रह करूंगा कि ऐसे लोगों पर कठोर से कठोर कार्रवाई की जाए। ये मानवता के खिलाफ का कृत्य है। भारत हिम्मत हारने वाला देश नहीं है। न भारत हिम्मत हारेगा और न कोई भारतवासी हिम्मत हारेंगे। हम लड़ेंगे और जीतेंगे।
And now let's take a look at the COVID-19 updates from across the country in terms of numbers. This is a significant development because India's cumulative recoveries have surpassed 2 crores today. The national recovery rate is 83.50%. 3,44,776 recoveries were registered in the last 24 hours. And it outnumbers India's daily new COVID cases for the third time in last 4 days. India's total active caseload has decreased to 37,04,893. It now comprises 15.41% of the country's total positive cases. A net decline of 5,632 cases is recorded in the active caseload in the last 24 hours. On the other hand, the cumulative number of COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country is steadily nearing 18 crore today under the phase 3 of the nationwide vaccination drive. A total of 17,92,98,584 vaccine doses have been administered through over 26,02,000 sessions so far, and more than 20 lakh vaccination doses were administered in the last 24 hours as well. 4,40,706 beneficiaries of the age group between 18 to 44 years of age have received their first dose of COVID vaccine in the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, the centre will supply nearly 1 crore 92 lakh vaccine doses to the states and union territories free of cost during the fortnight of 16 to 31st of May 2021. And this will include 162.5 lakh of Covishield and 29.49 lakh of Covaxin. States have been asked to direct the concerned officials to ensure rational and judicious utilization of allocated doses and also minimize vaccine wastage. The basic objective behind informing the states and union territories in advance of the quantum of free vaccine doses to be made available from the central government for 15 days is to ensure that they prepare effective plans for judicious and optimum utilization of these free vaccine doses, which are meant for the age group of 45 and above. And India continues to put up a strong fight against COVID-19. The country continues its mass-scale COVID-19 testing drive as well. And as per Indian Council of Medical Research or ICMR, 18,75,515 samples have been tested as of on May 12th, taking the cumulative total to 31 crore 13,24,100. News related with vaccine. The first dose of SPUTNIK V vaccine was administered in Hyderabad today as part of the soft launch and limited pilot. Dr. Reddy's Laboratories Limited in a press release said that it received regulatory clearance from the Central Drugs Laboratory in Kasoli yesterday. The laboratory further said the soft launch of SPUTNIK V vaccine has been taken up as part of the limited pilot. The company also announced that the imported doses will be priced at Rs 948 plus 5% GST or Rs 995.4 per dose. Now, the company says it is looking at the possibility of a lower price point when local supply also begins. Now, it is expected that the local manufacturing of the SPUTNIK V will commence soon, while 6 Indian manufacturing partners are fulfilling regulatory requirements to ensure smooth and timely supply. Shifting focus to states, in Nagaland and Northeast, a week-long lockdown has come into force from 6 a.m. this morning till 21st of May to contain the spread of coronavirus. During the total lockdown period, all activities and movements of persons will remain suspended except for the permitted activities such as essential services, including agricultural activities. Activities exempted from the lockdown also include movement of goods vehicles carrying essential commodities, food items and medical supplies, including oxygen cylinders and other medical equipment. In addition to this, movement of interstate transit passengers will be allowed as per the revised standard operating procedure for returnees and travellers entering Nagaland. And from Nagaland, shifting focus to down south in Tamil Nadu, where the government has decided to enforce stricter lockdown measures. The decision was taken in a meeting of representatives of all legislature parties in Tamil Nadu Assembly. All the parties unanimously agreed to intensify the ongoing complete lockdown further to protect the lives of the people. Parties also resolved not to conduct any public meetings in the near future. The government also intends to form a consultative committee on COVID having party representatives. The resolution passed in the meeting decided to support the government's efforts in this time of crisis. And staying with news from Chennai, a Chennai-based startup is using drones to deliver essential items to isolated areas in the city during the ongoing total lockdown period in Tamil Nadu. And these drones have been delivering foods and medicines and other essentials to COVID patients. The deliveries are being made to patients in home isolation who are finding it difficult to access items for their daily needs. Garuda Aerospace was involved in helping several states during the first wave of COVID-19. It carried out automated drone-based sanitization projects to disinfect public spaces to contain the spread of coronavirus in various states, including the Prime Minister's constituency of Varanasi. It had also, in fact, supported the NDRF in the glacier burst disaster in Uttarakhand earlier this year. And as the fight against COVID-19 continues, unabated international COVID aid also continues to pour in for India. An aircraft arrived in India this morning serving 223 ventilators, 25,000 vials of remdesivir and other medical equipment from Germany, 30,000 vials of remdesivir from the Netherlands and 5,500 vials of remdesivir from Portugal. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi acknowledged the continued solidarity shown by European countries, including Germany, Netherlands and Portugal. A shipment of over 5.6 million masks or respirators arrived from Kazakhstan also this morning. Another shipment of 300 ventilators from Canada reached India today. ME spokesperson has also thanked Canada for the cooperation. And meanwhile, 4 Air Force aircrafts reached Chennai Airport from Singapore carrying oxygen cylinders as well. Earlier, 2 aircrafts carrying medical aid from South Korea reached India on Friday. The first plane carried 10,000 rapid testing kits, whereas the second plane brought 100 negative pressure carriers for India. Meanwhile, Qatar also continues its help to India, extending assistance. The Qatar government has sent a supply of 200 oxygen concentrators, 40 ventilators, 4,300 remdesivir doses to India. Meanwhile, government continues to expeditiously allocate and deliver global aid to states, union territories through a whole of government approach. Cumulatively, 9,294 oxygen concentrators, 11,835 oxygen cylinders, 19 oxygen generation plants, 6,439 ventilators BiPAP and nearly 4.22 lakh remdesivir vials were delivered or dispatched through road, air so far. Meanwhile, overcoming all hurdles and finding new solutions, Indian Railways is continuing its journey of bringing relief by delivering liquid medical oxygen to various states across the country. So far, Indian Railways has delivered nearly 7,115 metric tons of liquid medical oxygen in more than 444 tankers to various states across the country. 115 oxygen expresses have completed their journey so far and brought relief to various states. It is Indian Railways' endeavour to deliver as much liquid medical oxygen as possible in the shortest time possible to the requesting states. Oxygen expresses have delivered more than 3,900 metric tons of LMO or liquid medical oxygen in the NCR region so far for further distribution. The first oxygen express has reached Chennai from Durgapur with medical oxygen for COVID-19 patients in Tamil Nadu and South. And with many of those who have recovered from COVID-19 remain reluctant to donate plasma to those affected by the virus, a 50-year-old man has created a record of sorts by donating plasma as many as 14 times. Pune resident Ajay Munot has also received a certificate from the India Book of Records for achieving this feat. Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar appreciated Munot for donating this plasma for a record 14 times and saving lives. In a tweet, the Information Broadcasting Minister said, and I quote, "We shall remain ever grateful to COVID-19 warriors like Mr. Ajay who are an example for the society in such tough times," unquote. In other news, the BJP has lambasted the Aam Aadmi Party government over the lack of oxygen storage facility in Delhi. Addressing the media, BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra said the Delhi government has asked states around it to restore oxygen because it does not have enough storage facilities, adding that it shows the inefficiency of the Arvind Kejriwal-led government.
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, आपका काम करने का तरीका बड़ा अनूठा है. अब ये हिंदुस्तान जान चुका है. The way you work is something which has been exposed today. पहले हाहाकार मचाओ. बिल्कुल परिस्थिति खराब थी दिल्ली में, मगर आपने कोई व्यवस्था नहीं की, केवल हाहाकार मचाया कि देखो मुझे मोदी जी कुछ नहीं दे रहे हैं, देखो हमें हरियाणा वाले बदमाशी कर रहे हैं, देखो हमारे साथ बाकी जो राज्य हैं यूपी वाले हमारे साथ बदमाशी कर रहे हैं, हमारे को ऑक्सीजन कोई नहीं दे रहा है. ऑक्सीजन दिया गया तो आपने कहा हैंड्स अप, हमारे पास तो स्टोरेज स्पेस नहीं है, हम तो हाथ खड़े कर देंगे, अब हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. जी, आप अपना ऑक्सीजन अपने पास रखो.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, alert troops of the BSF today recovered arms and ammunition which were dropped from a Pakistani drone today morning in Samba district. The arms and ammunition were wrapped in polythene packet and the consignment was recovered from border outpost Regal in Samba area. The arms and ammunition recovered include AK-47 rifles, magazines, 19mm pistol and pistol magazines. Also, one wooden frame used to upload payload in drone was also recovered from the site. Some other news on the weather front. The well-marked low-pressure area over Lakshadweep area as well as adjoining southeast Arabian Sea moved east-northeastwards, concentrated into depression, and it is very likely to intensify into the deep depression during the next 12 hours and into a cyclonic storm during subsequent 12 hours. It is very likely to also intensify further, likely to move initially north-northeastwards till this evening, and it would then move north-northwestwards and reach near Gujarat coast by 18th May morning. Indian Met Department has predicted heavy rain and thunderstorm at isolated places over Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Delhi, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Sikkim, Madhya Pradesh, Marathwada, Konkan and Goa, Telangana, coastal Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and Karaikal in Kerala, and Mahe and Lakshadweep over the next few days. IMD has also predicted thunderstorm with lightning and at some isolated places over Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Gilgit-Baltistan, Muzaffarabad, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Vidarbha, Chhattisgarh, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam and Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura included coastal Andhra Pradesh and Yanam and Rayalaseema, as well as interiors of Karnataka. Meanwhile, National Disaster Response Force or NDRF is prepared ahead of the cyclone Tokte striking the coast of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Gujarat and Maharashtra. Director General of NDRF in a tweet said that 53 NDRF teams are committed, 24 teams are pre-deployed, 29 teams are standby mode for 5 states, and according to the IMD, a low pressure area is forming over the Arabian Sea and that it may gradually turn into a cyclone over the east central Arabian Sea by May 16th. And let's get you some international news. First up, updates on COVID-19 from across the world. Over 16 crore, 80 lakh people have been infected or affected so far with the COVID-19, while number of recoveries have already crossed 13 crore 97 lakh mark globally. The virus has claimed more than 33 lakh lives worldwide. The US, where COVID-19 cases are about 3 crore 36 lakh mark, continues to remain the worst hit with COVID-19, and the number of fatalities in the United States has crossed 5,98,000. A year ago, the idea that the COVID-19 pandemic could have been caused by a laboratory accident was denounced as a conspiracy theory by the world's leading journals, scientists and news organizations. But the origin of the virus that has killed millions still remains a mystery, and the chance that it came from a laboratory has become the theory that cannot be put to rest. Now, in a letter in the journal Science, 18 prominent biologists, including the world's foremost coronavirus researcher, are lending their weight to calls for a new investigation of all possible origins of the virus and calling on China's laboratories and agencies to open their records to independent analysis. The letter, which was organized by the Stanford University microbiologist David Relman and the University of Washington virologist Jesse Bloom, takes aim at the recent joint study of COVID origins undertaken by the World Health Organization in China, which concluded that the bat virus likely reached humans via an intermediate animal and that a lab accident was extremely unlikely. That conclusion was not scientifically justified, according to the authors of the new letter, since no trace of how the virus first jumped to humans has been found. Several of those signing the letter, including Lipsitch and Relman, have in the past called for greater scrutiny of the gain of function research in which viruses are genetically modified to make them more infectious or virulent. Now, experiments to engineer pathogens were also ongoing at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, China's leading center for studying bat viruses similar to SARS-CoV-2. And some see the fact that COVID-19 first appeared in the same city in which the laboratory is located as circumstantial evidence that a laboratory accident could be to blame. Even though Chinese scientists have said no such leak occurred in this case, the letter writers say that can only be established through a more independent investigation. Now, according to them, and I quote, a proper investigation should be transparent, objective, data-driven, inclusive of broad expertise, subject to independent oversight and responsibly managed to minimize the impact of conflicts of interest, unquote. Public health agencies and research laboratories alike need to open their records to the public. This says investigators should document the veracity and provenance of data from which analyses are conducted and conclusions drawn. And now let's get you some news from United States of America. Well, the US President Joe Biden celebrated the new guidance from the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And in a bold move of sorts, Biden says fully vaccinated people do not need to wear masks outdoors and can avoid wearing them indoors in most places, adding that it's a great milestone, while the CDC also says fully vaccinated people will not need to physically distance in most places. The agency also hopes the guidance will prod more Americans to get vaccinated. CDC director says that the new guidance was based on a sharp reduction in cases, expansion of vaccines to younger people and vaccine efficacy against the coronavirus variants. And Eid al-Fitr is being celebrated across the country today in a very subdued manner amidst the coronavirus pandemic. And for the second consecutive year, no congregational prayers were held in Eidgahs and Grand Mosques. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi have extended greetings to fellow citizens on the occasion. And most of the faithfuls, in fact, offered prayers in their homes this morning in compliance with the COVID protocols. Eid is celebrated at the culmination of the fasting month of Ramadan. In Kerala and the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Eid was celebrated yesterday. Well, some news coming in from Assam. One person has died and two are injured due to the grenade blast in Digboi in Tinsukia district. The injured persons have been admitted to hospital. As per reports, two unidentified persons in a motorbike lobbed a grenade to one of the shops at the market in Digboi. Police and administrative officials have reached the spot and investigation is on. Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has expressed concern over the incident and asked the state DGP to deal with the incident sternly and nab the miscreants at the earliest. And with that, it's time to wrap up this newscast. Meanwhile, news updates continue on your channel DD News in DD India. Stay with us. Namaskar.